So hey guys, what's up? And welcome to another episode in Stage Review. So today we're going to be talking about the OnePlus 7 Pro. I currently have with me the Almond version, which is the limited edition. There is the Nebula Blue, which I had previously, and the Mirror Grey. So in the course of the last about 90 days, I've had all three phones as my personal daily driver. Now, will I recommend this phone for you to use? Let's get into that in a little bit. Okay. So primarily, for me in the last 90 days, one of the things that actually stood out to me on this phone and that has made this phone probably my best phone right now has been majorly the display. So this phone comes with a 6.67-inch AMOLED display, which is a fluid AMOLED display as they call it. It's a QHD display, and this guy packs a punch. It has 90 Hz refresh rate, which is currently the highest essentially in that OLED space, and as a result you get an intense loving experience on this phone, especially if you do things like Netflix, watch movies, you play games. This is definitely the phone to go for. Now, after getting used to that refresh rates, is it easy using any other phone? Yes, I switched back to my OnePlus 5, and for a little bit, about 2 days in between, just to try it out, and it wasn't so crazy. I could notice the difference in the screen, but is the screen really worth it at that price? I think I would say technically yes. Now, the screen packing a punch also affects the battery life of the phone, as I would say. This phone technically only barely lasts me for a full day. It barely just goes through, and that's probably thanks to some of the recent software updates. So the initial software they had, especially with the phone, made it extremely difficult for you to get at least a whole day out of this, especially if you're like a major gamer like myself. But recently, thanks to the newer software updates, this one has been able to stand its ground. Okay, so the second part I'll actually talk about on this one right now is the camera. So we all know this one packs a triple camera display system, which gives you 40 megapixel as a primary shooter, and then it has two other cameras, the 12 megapixel and the 8 megapixel camera. Now, in daily use, this has actually also gotten better with software updates. So I experienced the first software updates, the second, and then the third one recently. And the biggest improvements I would say about the camera so far has been the night vision. The night vision has gotten really better. And then for your daily shots, it's also been a lot more improved, so you actually get better, crisp, clear pictures. So overall, I'll say this one has gotten a lot better with time. Also, under each improvement I'll say has come to the phone in the last 90 days has been, of course, the battery life. So they've done a lot of more optimizations onto the screen, which actually improves like the switch rate. So for apps that you don't actually need like the 90 Hz refresh rate, it actually runs on 60 Hz now, which makes it a lot more easier on the screen rather, and of course easier on the battery. The same also goes for the resolution. So it switches freely now between regular HD and the full QHD display, so based on the apps that you use, the kind of games you play and stuff like that, it switches pretty easily. Now, the third enhancement, I'll actually say this one also improved on software-wise, has been the earphones options or earphone enhancement options for the Bullet Wireless 1 or 2, depending on which one you have, which essentially helps with your earphones, and that helps with literally almost any other earphones you have out there, not just the Bullet Wireless. So that was a necessary improvement on a necessary addition we wanted with the OnePlus 7 Pro. Overall, the build has been able to stay. I actually dropped my phones, all of them actually, a couple of times, especially the silver one. Anyway, they've all pretty much held up, so it's not a flimsy phone. Despite the fact that it's an all glass build round with the curved edges, it's been able to hold its pack, handle a couple of punches essentially. Now, I didn't try this one in water like I usually do with almost every other OnePlus, and that's because this has a moving part in it. So if I pop up my selfie camera, you can literally see that guy just pop up right there. And as a result, I don't want to put it in water. But I've actually used it in places like in the rain, used it with wet fingers. I'm actually surprised. I can actually unlock my phone with the fingerprints when my finger is wet, which is pretty interesting. That's the fact, because it's an optical sensor, and with water, it's a bit much more difficult. But this guy's been able to do that pretty sufficiently and easily, which makes this device essentially almost an A+ device for me, roundabout. The battery life is good. The battery life holds up now. The camera has gotten a lot better. The screen is the best display you can have on any phone right now, at least that is released. Some phones coming up later in the year and next year might actually beat this, but for now, this is the best display on any phone, hands down. Okay, so now let's go into some of the bad parts of this phone. So this phone is huge. It doesn't look so huge when you look at it, and doesn't necessarily feel so huge when you hold it. But when you try to navigate this phone, you start to discover it's not an easy phone to navigate with one finger. You want to really get a full grasp of your phone, or actually get to navigate the phone easily, you need to use both hands. Now, the bigger screen also makes it easier for you to use things like split apps very easily. So I could actually have my YouTube split it up to the top of the screen and do something completely different with the rest of the screen, and that makes it work. And that makes it work really efficiently and easily for me. But there's that disadvantage of it being an enormous screen. So if you're the kind of person that can't really use an enormous screen, this phone is not for you. You need big fingers. So in total, after 90 days, will I recommend the OnePlus 7 Pro? And the answer is yes. For 699 bucks, getting a device with 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 UFS 3.0 storage, a QHD Fluid AMOLED display with 90 Hz refresh rate, a triple camera system with a 40 megapixel primary shooter, and the 60 megapixel pop-up camera right in front of it, I think you're getting the best deal. So far right now in the world, for that price, this is the best phone to go for. Now, subsequently, later in the year, you may actually get some other phones at similar price range or similar price points that might pack a couple of punches like this phone does. Till then, my recommendation on the OnePlus 7 Pro after 90 days, yeah, you guys did well. I'm expecting the next devices. Ciao.